All right, GM. We are live. Man, I'm excited for today's stream. We are going to be talking to my man over here at Sonic. Arif, what is going on, man? How are you? Like, dude, NFTs are back. Gaming is taking off. Crypto space is all time highs. Man, it's like everything. Like, I'm just seeing things. People are actually now like in a different euphoria from last time you and I spoke when we were like, man, should we look at McDonald's jobs? Like, do we just say put fries in it? Now we're like, bro, Lambo season's around the corner. What color Lambo we buying? But how you doing, man? How's everything going?
Thank you so much for having me. It's been going great. I think it's the best time to be in. Even the markets have been pumping. Like Bitcoin is going like at crazy values right now. Sol touched 200 again. So I think it's euphoria right now. It's such a great time to be alive. And as we've spoken about this as well, we are seeing gaming making a comeback. We've seen like NFTs coming back with all the volumes. And think as Sol Max, it is the best time that you could possibly be in. So it's great to see all the euphoria around. And even when it comes to launch pads, I think Bonk is doing crazy, and obviously like Bonk is probably like the OG meme coin of Solana. So it's great to see the culture coming together and the entire Solana community standing together through the times of thick and thin. And now when it's actually the time to enjoy and have fun, it's great. It's like a great time to be alive. At Sonic, we have been cooking, and I think since the last time we spoke, we were kind of in a sad state, but things have turned out to be really well, and like everything is going pretty great. Like it's such a great time to be here, and looking forward to speak more about what we have been cooking at Sonic and see how the future of gaming unfolds in Solana.
Yeah, man, dude, it's awesome to see the vibes where they are. I mean, we waited long enough, right? It was a pretty long bear market, and then it's also been a lot of uncertainty that we had in the market. Also, just a lot of unknown with regulations and everything. And it's great to be where we are today. I see a lot of people sometimes be somewhat bearish of a lot of the situations, but I always constantly tell them, guys, 4 6 years ago we would have not never dreamed in our wildest mind that an administration would be pro crypto, right? So like we are very much advancing. We are seeing games now hit PlayStation, Xbox. We're seeing games where games live on, where games should live on. And so we are seeing that very much barriers that we once faced that we didn't know how to overcome now being overcome. And so like, dude, the direction of everything is definitely finally like going towards the right way, but also the light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter and brighter for us. And so really just excited to kind of like, hey, man, like kick back a little bit of what the last 45 days for Sonic has been because bro, I just went through like once again because I was looking at my like talking points with you and I was like, damn, you guys just like I know I keep up with like how much you guys stay cooking, but like when I put it together, I was like, okay, like what is going on? What is happening? Because the validator program that you guys came out with, like the Solana summer surge, like all these the capital markets, like all these attention things that you guys have, man, you guys absolutely cooking. But break me down like I'm a 5-year-old. Why I need to have more than my notifications on for Twitter right now for Sonic SVM because it's more than just what you're seeing on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think it has been a great time for us, a great run, and I think things have been going pretty good. And even like as of this moment, so we our latest product launch has been like just 1 hour ago. So we launched this project called Gooder.fun, which is a meme coin launchpad on Sonic, and it's going crazy. The moment we launched, we saw all the DJs coming in and shooting the shot, and our tokens. It didn't even take like half an hour. So the first tokens launched, they reached like 4 million FTV, and we are getting like great volumes. We have so many tokens already launched. So it's great to see we are blending into the narrative of Solana itself. So Solana obviously follows this thing of internet capital markets, and we are a subset of that. Wherein at Sonic we believe in the attention capital markets. So we are here to take the vision of Solana forward. So at Sonic, there have been so many things. Like it will take forever, but let me just try to summarize and keep it super short. So number one is the Gooder launchpad that we launched just today itself. It has hardly been an hour and it's been like super crazy. If you didn't get the time to check it out, like feel free to do so. It's like raining money all over there. Other than that, we all have like a couple of other things. So we have this game called For Money, which is like a really cool on-chain game on Solana and Sonic. So at Money, it's like a simple tile game. So what you do is that you connect your wallet, you go and you stake your Sonic tokens, and you get S Sonic. And with that S Sonic, you can buy keys. So keys are your sort of your in-game currency there. And using the keys, you're able to like play various rounds. In each round, there is like a tiling. Okay, so there's like a grid, and there are multiple tiles similar to how you have in Candy Crush. And then once you make like groups of three, those sort of get added, and then you go to the next round. So this was a cool game that we came up with, and we got like more crazy users during our airdrop campaign as well as over the last year. Now, Money was doing already good. We thought we want to give our users something much more. The DJs need something to play with to have fun. So we came up with this idea of okay, we need to launch an NFT collection because everyone has been super bearish, and I really don't like the resentment with that the other chains have with Solana that hey, Solana NFTs are dead, there's no volume and all of that. We wanted to prove the point. No, there is always volume in Solana, and we want the NFT market to be back. So we launched this NFT collection, and it was launched just yesterday. And the moment it was launched, it was all sold out. And this was like the phase one of it. So it's like crazy. We always think that hey, that there's not enough volume, or let's say people won't be interested. But given the right product, given the right strategy, I think if we're able to deliver value to the end user, they will definitely be a part of it. So for Money being a cool game, we got a great response on the NFT collection. Other than that, we are also planning our summer surge, which is sort of our DeFi mainnets program. So what will happen is that we have a couple of projects inside that, and we give you more ways to farm the money, to farm more Sonic tokens and get richer. The thing is, a lot of projects, what they do, the moment they start, they have this airdrop campaigns, right? And once the airdrop is done, the token is out, then it's like there's no incentives for anyone else. We want people to make money no matter what the market is. So that's why we have come up with this entire mainnet search campaign. So what happens is that there are various protocols on Sonic. Like if I have to talk about the ecosystem app, it will take forever. But broadly, there are like 20 to 30 projects right now. But out of that, there are like few of the cool DeFi projects, some staking projects like Chaos. We have our DEX called Sega. So similar to that, we have a launchpad Huda.fun. We have another launchpad Creampad. So all of these projects, if you participate in some manner or the other, you get certain rewards. So a part of the summer search is that you have to stake or let's say give or let's say add to the pool. And by doing that, you will earn like crazy amount of money. So in terms of the liquidity rewards, you get up to 200%. And yes, you heard that right. We are not doing like 20%, 15%. No, we're not doing two-digit stuff. We are giving up to 200% APR liquidity rewards. And then we have a couple of trading competitions as well. So let's say you don't want to provide liquidity, you are like a complete degen, you love the meme coin mania. There's something for you too. In the meme coin mania, we have like a trading competition on our launchpad Gooder Fund. So what you do is that it's very similar to how you had like Pump Fun and Let's Bonk Live. You go to the project, go launch a token in less than 1 minute, and then if your token reaches a certain value, it obviously graduates, but you get certain amount of points as well. And the more number of points you get a part to be of the trading competition. And by participating in that, you can win up to $10,000. And then there are like some other projects as well where you can just take and earn up to 30% reward. So a lot of stuff around the DeFi aspect is happening. We have like a detailed blog as well prepared that will come out soon, so you can go and check it out. Other than For Money, other than Gooda.fun, we also have our validator program, which is currently live. So what we're doing is that we're talking to institutional validators as well as retail, wherein you can be a part of our validator network and provide security to Sonic, and then in return you get crazy amount of rewards. So that is something cool that is happening. We also introduced our burn mechanism. So it's like a new strategy wherein we add more value to the token holders themselves. So it's not that you're just holding a token and staking, but there's much more to that. There is like long-term token locking. There is sustainable liquidity growth. There's fee-funded market purchases, all adding value to the Sonic token itself. Other than that, we are doing a lot in the gaming aspect. Obviously, it goes without saying, we have always been proponents of gaming, and that is something we always want to continue. So, other than the For Money NFT, oh, by the way, For Money phase one is sold out, so there is still time. On the 31st, we'll come up with the phase two. So, if you didn't get the chance to mint it yet, you should do that definitely on the 31st. And also, we are partnering with this project called Astro Kids. So, Solana Gaming OGs might definitely know the project. So, the project is called Vault, and it's so the founder behind that is BK, who is like a huge proponent of indie gaming on Solana, and he started around 4.5 years back, and it's a really cool game built on Solana, which is like similar to a space adventure, how you have like Star Wars around the theme of that, wherein you as the main character, the protagonist, you go through space, through various spaceships, and you do some quest and you do some missions and you earn and you play. So what we did is that we thought that okay, gaming is really cool and Vault is already doing really well on Solana. What else can we do for our audience? What else will be like a new thing, or let's say which will add more value? So me and BK had a discussion, and we realized that something which has not been utilized is the power of IPs. So something Web2 really does well is that whenever they have an IP, what they do is that they try to make the most of it. So for example, we saw the launch of Pengu, right? Pengu being one of the most successful IPs of all time, being one of the best meme coins recently. They also, it went like more than 200% up, which was crazy. They have in-house merchandise at like big stores. Walmart gives that. So what we did was that we thought if there was a way to give more to the gamers other than just the game. So we had some brainstorming sessions and we realized the story is something that is really important. So any game you play, obviously it's the fun that you get and the enjoyment that you have, but it's also the story that drives you, right? The cool things that you like. Maybe it's a movie, it's a game, but it's always the story behind it. So we realized that something which has not been explored very much in Solana, it has been the comic book angle, wherein we haven't been able to provide something which is similar to a decentralized comic book platform, and that is what we are working on. So Sonic and World are coming together to present the Astro Kids comic, which will come up in mid-August, which is around 2 weeks away. And the goal is that if you buy the Astro Kids NFT, then you get access to the Astro Kids comic. So it's sort of an NFT gated model, but we are keeping it very reasonable. We don't want you to spend like tons of money for like just getting access to the comic. So we're keeping it super reasonable. We'll keep it at like $5 retail so that it's affordable. So everyone who is a part of Solana Gaming or has been a supporter, they can not only play the game at vault.com, but they can also read the Astro Kids comic. So we're planning stuff around that. Also, Astro Kids would be the first one. We also have a couple of other sort of Solana indie games who would love to come up with the comic book version. So now you as an audience, as a user, you don't have to just be limited to playing the game. If you love the game so much, you love the characters, the IP, the story, you can go buy the NFT, read the comic. So it stays you with you for a longer time. You know, like I remember back in the day when I was a kid, I used to read all these Marvel comics, and it used to be super fascinating to me. And something like that, when you can provide that to like gaming, I think gaming, IPs, comic, all this coming together is like something super crazy. So this is another thing that I'm interested at. And right now we are also doing the mainnet search. So at Sonic, like we have always been cooking. So there are always like 4 to 5 product launches that happen. So we love to like talk to the audience, see what's happening, and always supporting gaming. So it's been super fun for us, and very interested to see what the future holds for us.
Bro, you just kind of like unleashed the whole alpha. You just went in and you just gave us like the 411 and like the step guide. I love it because I wasn't gonna stop you, but I gotta backtrack for a bit, right? Because like man, so much to unpack, so much that you said, and I gotta first start with like looks like that you guys have a really positive and strong signal to gamers and game developers on why to work with Sonic, right? I think that the overall like emphasis of everything you guys are doing is really a signal to say to other games and game developers, hey, come join with Sonic, come work with Sonic, let's work together, let's build here, let's figure out ways that we've seen others have success and let's bring it to the table how we could help you have that type of success. How can we emulate that type of success with the right tools, with the right partnerships, with the right, essence of foundations that needed for business development, business planning, marketing plans, token launches, everything, NFT launches, everything that you just said for me is like a very strong signal for other game developers. But from your end of it, like as working in business development, what is that strong signal that you want to tell other game developers or other gamers to come to check out Sonic SVM? What is it that there is also on top of everything you mentioned? You mentioned what some of these projects that are already here, but how do you get those projects to get here, right? How do you get the projects to come on board? What's that message there?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, gaming is something that has always been like super personal and something I'm very passionate about. So what I do is that I try to talk to the game developer and understand, hey, what are you building right now? What is the incentive for users to play it? And how do you think it will work out? So what are your plans? So something which a lot of game founders don't realize is that they are really good developers and really good programmers in general. But when it comes to the BD aspect, or let's say the sales of it, I think that it is something which they lack a lot. So you as a gaming founder, if you're very technical, I think it's really good for your game building. But game building, as you know, is usually half the step, right? So you can't make a successful game if you just have the first part of it. A really successful game is when you have like a banger product, your game is ready, and you also have the skills and the abilities and the distribution to market it. If you fail at the marketing aspect, then no matter if you build like the coolest game in the world, I think it wouldn't work out. So at Sonic, what we do is that we take this ethos wherein we are able to combine that along with the technical superiority and then bring it together to you. So for any game developer or any game builder, if you're trying to build a cool game, what we do is that we allow you to deploy it on Sonic. So what happens is that Sonic is essentially like very similar to Solana itself, and we are a layer two, we are an SVM. So what happens is that the transaction goes through Sonic. So Sonic is the execution layer, but it eventually settles on Solana. Solana is the settlement layer. So thereby you're getting all the benefits that you would get on the Solana mainnet itself. Other than, let's say, few other disadvantages are sort of taken care of, but keeping that aside, I think you get sort of the same aspects, but you get the superior benefits of like GTM and the BD and the distribution. That is something which is very helpful for this sort of new game developers, right? Because they sort of lack at it. So I think that is something wherein we are really good at. So like for example, back in the day, we came up with this game called Sonic X, which was our first TikTok game, and I think it was the very early sort of Web3 games ever to come up on TikTok. And I think that was the first time that people came to know that there's a way to make it happen, and we got like around 2 million, 2.5 million users by doing that. So I think that was sort of a really validation for us, which made us understand that if we have the right strategy, then you can build a really simple game, and that can like penetrate the entire gaming market, reach out to the Web2 audience as well. So what we do is that we specialize in the GTM and the BD part. Also, it is technologically slightly superior to Solana, but I think that's not a big deal. But I think the GTM is something that we are very good at, and that is why game developers should really talk to Sonic. Also, we have this in-house SDK called Rush. So what happens is that if you are a game developer, like a Web2 game dev, you have no idea what blockchain is, what Solana is, you have no idea what Rust is. You can use that SDK Rush and still build games on top of Sonic and deploy it. So you don't need to have the knowledge of Web3 or coding in general. You just need to be a regular dev. You use that SDK. It's like a plug and play, and then your game is live. So that also makes your development arc much more shorter and simpler. And when it comes to the GTM aspect, we help you with everything that you need. We have a really good following on Twitter, Discord, more than 800K combined. And then we have our own sort of campaigns. And what we do is that we try to combine it with other projects. So let's say if you're a standalone game, and unless and until the reward incentive is not very high, you might not be able to attract the gamers. So what we do, we take a single game, we take few DeFi projects, few SocialFi projects, we combine them together and then create a funnel. It's like a flywheel, right? So if you have to do certain tasks on some other dApps, and then you have to come and play the game as well. So what it does is that it connects and builds like an ecosystem. So not only are you attracting the normal regular gamers who just love it for the sake of it, like we are gamers and we love gaming, but it also attracts those sort of like DeFi farmers, or let's say sort of the DGen audience. So in that way, we're able to bring in not just the gaming lovers, but also like the regular audience, crypto traders or airdrop farmers in general. So by using some strategies like that, and also by promoting the game as much as we can, I think it also sort of like makes a really good mix when you're able to build a really cool game really fast. You're able to get all the benefits of Solana and much more. Your cost is like super low. You get the best speed that's possible, and I think it also helps you to reach out to the max audience. So I think things like this is what makes you compelled to sort of come to Sonic and make that happen. And obviously, when Sonic grows, it sort of also adds to the Solana gaming ecosystem. So I think it's a great like a win-win situation. And if you're trying to build a new game or a new gaming founder, I think Sonic is sort of your like a good start to begin with, and then you can obviously navigate and go ahead. But I think it's really something you should think about.
Yeah, no, man. I think like that's exactly it. It's understanding what the support looks like and why, right? And it's like the signal again from the experience, but signal from exactly what you just mentioned with the success of the current games, and then what is it that is attracting them to Sonic was super key here. What do you think the next 6 months as in the sector of gaming look like for you? What do you think we're still like? Do you see still obstacles in gaming? Like, is it, still very much the language issues? Is it still very much infrastructure issues? Is it the games are still not fully developed, right? Like, what do you think is like what's still like the current obstacle that we're facing in Web3 gaming?
I think Web3 gaming has always been a super tricky space to navigate, right? Like there's always something that you plan out, you have the best strategies, but it just falls short of something, right? So it's different at different times. If I have to speak of current times, like as of this present moment, something I really see very difficult for gaming is to grab the attention, right? So like obviously we spend an entire day on Twitter, and there is everyone fighting each other for attention. So there's something very cool happening, and the moment you think you can participate in that, you see some another post that some other project just launched or did XYZ, and there's something else. So what happens is that me as a crypto Twitter user, or let's say me as a normal Web3 user, I fail to stick to that particular project, or let's say stay along with the project's success, failure, or let's say whatever the thing is. So I think something that games are not able to get right in these days is that the attention aspect, wherein they are fighting with every other niche of crypto, right? So Web3 obviously is very huge. So there's like DeFi, RWA, DePIN, gaming, SocialFi, PayFi. Like there's so many aspects, and everyone is fighting for the same piece of attention. And a normal audience might spend like 1 hour on Twitter, let's say, if you're a normal guy. Then in that case, in that 1 hour, you have to ensure that your message is reached to the right audience, and you're able to reach out and let them know about what your game is, why is it cool, why they should play. So I think that is super difficult. So I think marketing is something which is really challenging. Unless and until you have like tons of money, I think it's really hard to make your impact. I think the last time I saw some game make it really cool, make it really big, was when on Avax we had the launch of OTG, and obviously the guns came to Solana as well, which was a big W for the ecosystem. But I think that was when it was a really huge impact. But obviously because OTG had a lot of funds, and off the grid was like promoted heavily, and because they had tons of marketing budget, I think that's why it was able to make that noise and penetrate through the entire ecosystem. But I think right now, if you have to succeed, it's very difficult to command attention. And on Solana, because it's the best chain to be on, I think there's always tons of things happening simultaneously. So if you're able to figure out a way and get the right partnerships in, only then you can stay in relevance. I think being relevant is super important these days. So if you're able to find a way around that, that should always happen. And like there are always these other problems, like development is very slow, fundraising is a huge challenge. There are a couple of projects which sort of got shot down. I think Nyan Heroes being one of my favorite Solana projects, it was really tragic and heartbreaking to see them wind up. And I think something that's super challenging is that when you talk to VCs, they are like, oh no, we're not into gaming that much. So that are the obvious challenges which will constantly continue to be. So fundraising, game development is like a constant thing. But I think something which is super important now more than ever is the fight for relevance. I think if you're able to do that, only then you can succeed. So some good examples I can say here is that there's this game called CFL, Crypto Fantasy League, which is one of my all-time favorite games on Solana and Sonic right now. And fun fact, they are the game who won the Sonic Hackathon, the Mobius Sonic Hackathon in the gaming track. They also won the Coliseum Hackathon on Solana. So they are probably like the best game to ever come along in any hackathon. To win first project in like two of the biggest hackathons is like an insane feat to achieve, right? So something that CFL was able to do right was that they figured out this aspect wherein they got right to where the attention was. So if anyone doesn't know what CFL is, so CFL stands for Crypto Fantasy League. What you do is that you play soccer, but it's like a fantasy league, right? So you create your own team, 11 players, and then I create my own team, 11 players. But instead of them being real football players, these are meme coins. So in your team, you would have like Bonk, Pengu, Whiff, Popcat, Useless, whatever, and then I'll have something similar to that. And then we play the game and we bet, and then whoever's meme coins actually perform better, like wins the game. So the cool thing here, if you see, is that this is not merely gaming. This is gaming plus meme coin plus certain aspects of DeFi plus Gamble5, sort of all coming in together. So when you're able to crack the market wherein you're able to give them much more, then you're also relevant, because meme coins are always been like the super relevant thing in Solana. So now the meme coin audience, the degens, they're also attracted to your game because they're able to get to explore that aspect more through gaming. So when you combine certain aspects like this, I think that's a great example of what you can do. So I would love to see more games come up with ideas like this. They don't have to copy the exact thing, but just figure out what is the most sort of relevant stuff right now, and then figure out if you're able to combine the relevance aspect with your game, whatever that game can be. It can be on chain, off chain, it could be like arcade or anything. But just try to figure out a way in which it is very attention grabbing, and then use that as a GTM mechanism, or let's say as a onboarding mechanism, and then that should work out for you. So I think if more Solana games were to follow the route of what CFL did, I think it would really be a cool thing to see going on ahead. So I'm very bullish on gaming, but I think more people need to figure this part out wherein they're able to get the attention of the users. That is like the biggest sort of problem statement that I see right now.
Yeah, I agree that they're like it's definitely a also a chicken and an egg situation in many ways as well. You know, because you are building in public, you are building from scratch sometimes, and expectation sometimes is that crypto gives you that 100 or 1,000x returns right away. And in gaming, as you know, it does take some time to build the good games. Like good games take years to build, and it's hard to be patient in this space, right? Especially with all the noise that happens. So it's definitely one that I always say, like it's a tricky way, but if you find a way, then there is ways. And there's a lot of games in Web3, and there's a lot of games on Solana that have found ways to keep their audience alive for the past 2, 3, 4 years while they've been building, right? There's been many games that are learning how to keep the community interactive, how to keep the community, receptive to everything, and at the end of the day, just be behind with the project that they're going to be fans of. And that is so essential. That is so key to all of this as well, because it's back to what you were saying earlier about, like, hey, if I fall in love with a game or I fall in love with the IP, like, what more is there to it, right? You mentioned Pengu and like their merchandise, but here's the thing to it. I've always said this: if you look at gaming from an entertainment standpoint, which every game in Web 2 is an entertainment standpoint, where they have merchandise, movies, comics, merch, the merchandise, like IP stuff, like, you will be able to succeed because you will make them look more to become a marketer for what you're building. And I think Disney has done probably the best job to all of this, as they have killed it with, from kids from 5 years old to 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, whatever it is, that, hey, look, this is what very much they're still passionate about their IP and where it is. And so what you're saying here, once again, to me resonates really big, is like, hey, how do we find that? How do we keep building that? How do we work towards that? Because essentially you want to be long lasting. You want to be able to succeed past the next 3 to 6 months of the noise that happens in crypto and these bull and bear markets that we have. Let me backtrack to what you mentioned before of the validators and everything. How do you see that, like, coming back into like crypto right now, as crypto has kind of taken this little different step in the way that they're very much looking at a lot of DeFi tools? But validators have been one of those things where, again, very much essential to it, but hasn't been talked about yet, or been breaking out yet, in the sense of communications. Where do you think the communications or the talk and marketing is what makes people more excited about the validators?
Yeah, I think when it comes to any sort of chain, right? So it doesn't have to be Solana, Sonic, or let's say any other chain. I think validators have sort of been the lifeblood without which you just can't perform. And it does not matter if it's gaming, DeFi, Deepin, like it's like sort of agnostic to all of that, right? So I think there has to be a robust program wherein you're able to give back to the validators and make that model really cool. So for example, one thing with Solana is that Solana is very validator driven. So if you see, like, from 4 years, 4.5 years back, Solana is very giving. Solana has this in itself when it is giving back to the validators, and that is being like one of the biggest reasons why Solana is so successful as we know of it today. So I think what we did is that we took a slightly different approach, but even in our case, we're trying to make it like super decentralized and give back to the validators. So what we do is that in our validator program, we have a simple structure. We're keeping it dual model. Okay, so in this dual model, there's an incentive structure in which we're trying to ensure that we are able to attract the high quality validators and ensure that we are able to give enough amount of decentralization as well. So what we do is that we reach out to the top validators in the space, and then we figure out what can we do together. So what we do is that we talk to the DeFi projects and understand if they would like to partner, because they know how the validator space works, and then we work with them. So how it works, like if I have to talk about the technicals, there are two ways. One is the self-checking model, one is the delegation-based model. And this can get slightly technical, so just bear with me here. So what happens is that in self-checking model, we decide upon an amount, and then the validator comes up and locks in X amount of money. So let's say 500,000 Sonic or whatever. And then once that's locked in, we give them some sort of fixed commission rate. So it could be 5%, 15%, whatever. And then that is how they run the validator for us and they earn through that. So this is the first model, self-staking. Then there is a second model called delegation-based model. So in that, what happens? We decide upon another amount, let's say 100K worth of Sonic, and then we delegate that amount to the validator. Now, what that partner will do is that they will get that delegation and then run the validator for us and continue in a similar manner. And also the commission can be adjusted 5, 15, 10, whatever. So these two models are what we follow, and ideally it comes down to the chain themselves, which model do they want to follow, but ultimately the goal is the same. You want to make it super robust, super decentralized, and ensure that you're able to give back to the validators and ensure that they are profitable, which is super important. A lot of the new chains that I see coming up on the like the EVM L2s, and there are a couple of chains coming up, I won't name them, but something they're doing really bad is that they mess up the validator space, wherein the validators are running the machines, they are putting a lot of the money, hardware cost is super high, and they're still not able to make a profit out of it, which is kind of disappointing. But I think that is something that has to be very important. So that is what we did. So we had this node sale earlier as well, so anyone could run a node. But ordinarily we look at like more of the institutional validator partners and sort of the validator partners on the DeFi side. So I think that is super important. So if any chain wants to succeed, you have to follow some sort of mechanism like that, which is giving back to the validators as well as ensuring that your entire network is super is securitized and like it's completely working as you would want it to be. So that is something that is super important. Now we at Sonic, we believe in the ethos of this, so that's why we are doing it. I think this is super important. So any sort of project, or let's say any sort of institutional partner, or let's say these validators, if you would love to like run a validator and help us secure Sonic and thereby Solana, so feel free to reach out to us and I can like go into detail and help you understand more on that.
Yeah, man. It really, you had me like brain thinking here as a marketing guy. Like, man, like sometimes the essentials or the basics of crypto and why we're building in Web3 sometimes get missed. And like, yeah, it's cool to hear it from your standpoint of, again, how, why, and what, and how, and why we should be marketing it. It makes a lot of sense. And it kind of has me thinking like, man, what else are we missing? Like, what other aspects of crypto have we missed, right? And it almost makes me want to ask you, like, what are other underrated features from Sonic, from what you guys have to offer that you think, like, yeah, man, like another aspect of marketing. It's hard to market at all because it's impossible. We know that. But what other underrated features do you think that Sonic has?
I think there are a couple of features like that. Something that I would really like to talk about is this feature wherein you're able to prepare a campaign which is super inclusive. Something that I don't see a lot these days. So what happens is that when you plan a game, a product launch, or anything, usually even if you get the best KOLs on board, you do a lot of Twitter spaces, you try to put the word out, but it doesn't materialize that much because something you don't understand is that when you do all of this aspects, right? So let's say I hired 15 KOLs and each of them is promoting my stuff. I go on a couple of Twitter spaces, I'm talking there about all of my project, and then the main project handle is also pushing it out, and let's say the chain handle is promoting. But in all these cases, something we don't think of is the overlap of the audience. So what we do is that we thought that, all right, I'm going to so many platforms and talking about my product, but what happens is that you're sort of overlapping the audiences. So maybe I'm saying the same thing and it's the same audience who is getting this word. It's not a new audience who's able to understand what I'm talking about, right? So I'm using multiple funnels, multiple platforms, but the target audience is the same. So it might look like I'm doing a lot of work and my GTM is super cool and it is super detailed, but if it's not approaching new audiences or it's a unique audiences, I think that is something which is wrong and which is sort of what will lead up to your failure. So what I think of it is that when you plan a campaign, when you plan a strategy, it has to be using multiple protocols together. Something I would really like to give an example of is how Solana Gaming, like you guys did the pass, the gaming pass. That was super cool. You got like Magic Eden and you got all the big Solana games promoting. I think that was a success because what you did really well was that you got in all of the ecosystem proponents and participants, like all the stakeholders coming together and then focusing on a single goal and then going right at it. And that's how you hit the bullseye. You have to include all possible stakeholders and make it super exhaustive. Everyone knows about it. So for example, let's say I don't know about Solana gaming. I have zero idea. But I'm an NFT guy. I follow Magic Eden. I saw the Magic Eden guys talking about it, and then I know, okay, there is something called the gaming pass, and something like that exists. And suppose let's say I'm only a gamer, then I might have seen this on Solana gaming handle. And then let's say if I'm another project. So what you do by this is that you're able to reach out to new niches, new audiences, and that's how you're able to cater to like new markets and make it a huge success. So at Sonic we do something like that, wherein what we do is that we combine one single product launch with multiple other projects. So let's say something new is coming up. So for example, like a Gooder Launchpad, which just launched today. For that, we partnered with our dexes, we partnered that with our games, with our infra projects, sort of with everything possible. So what did this did was that even though people who weren't, let's say, the meme coin audience, they might be simply liquidity pool providers, or let's say they might be simple gamers. So when they saw it, they came to know about it, and then they could be normal NFT guys. Maybe they were NFT, like for many NFT buyers. So they came to know through the tweets and like through all the chatter that something like this is happening. So then they come in, they participate. So something like this, where you're able to make like a dedicated approach with multiple ecosystem participants and all stakeholders, that is something that we do really well. And I think if more people just did that, they would see more successes happening. So this is something that Sonic does really well, and I think like obviously you guys did it well too. But I think yeah, this is something that is like super interesting for me.
I hope my boss is listening, Arif. That's all I hope, man. I just hope my boss listens to it, heard what you're saying. I might have to cut this and post it and show it to my boss once again to make sure he knows that I'm doing my job. Bro, it's been awesome chatting with you. I know we're coming around the 45 minute marker. How do we get involved? Like, what should we do? Should we go get into the Discord? Should we X notifications? Go on the Sonic website? Talk to us, like, plug us in. Like, where should we make sure that we're not missing any of the alpha, any of the updates from the Sonic side?
Yeah, for sure. So if anyone is listening, if you want to be a part of the Sonic ecosystem, you want to earn more rewards, earn up to 200% APR, which by the way is very rare these days. So just feel free to follow the Sonic handle. So everything that we talk about comes up on the main handle. The handle is Sonic SVM, all lowercase, like no spaces. And a lot of the stuff that we talk about also happens in the Discord. So if you go to the website, sonic.game, you can go and join our Discord. So we do a lot of the community sort of interactions. So every week we have something or the other happening. So if you just join our Discord, like in a single week, there are like 4 to 5 times where we have like this AMA and like sections like that. So just feel free to join that and you'll be able to know everything. So the most important two things that you can do is that you can follow the Sonic SVM handle on X and join the Sonic Twitter. These two are sort of the main channels, and everything that happens, like you can just follow it through these. And no matter what we do, we try to ensure that the main handle covers it, so you can also follow each of the individual ecosystem projects, but it will take forever to do that. So the best way to keep it super simple and short is follow the Twitter and be a part of the Discord, and also like try to be super active, because what happens is that a lot of times people try to figure it out themselves or follow another KOL. But what you should definitely do is read the entire blogs which are published on the main blog channel. So at Medium, what we do is that whenever there's a new campaign, we put out a detailed sort of manual on how to do it. So we make it super simple even for like newbies to understand. Like go to XYZ platform, connect your wallet, do this, go to this pool, and every single thing is covered in super easy language, easy to understand. So do also read out our blogs at our website sonic.game. We publish it regularly, and also because our summer surge campaign is coming up, I think the entire blog will go out in a while. So you can just follow the Twitter handle. We'll put it on Twitter, obviously, but just ensure that you read the steps which are from an official source. I've seen a lot of people losing money. What they do is that they follow some random KOLs and chillers who, what they do is that they try to manipulate the steps, and they might like do some manipulation there, and eventually the normal retail user ends up losing the money. So always follow the main official handles. Just ensure that the tick is correct and the followers and everything is correct. There's a lot of phishing going on these days, so try to be safe around that. And otherwise, just follow Twitter, Discord, and the Medium blogs. I think these three should be super helpful, and you can cover everything that's going on.
And if you're a game developer that wants to build on Sonic, they better reach out to you then, right?
Yeah, for sure. If you're building a game or building anything cool, like feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to talk to Solana game developers, normal Solana devs. If you're building meme coins, if you're building launch pads, anything. If you're trying to building anything on Solana, just feel free to reach out to us. We'll help you with as much as we can. We are always super approachable. you can reach me out at my Twitter, arifkazi_. Or otherwise, you can just DM the main Sonic handle and I'll respond to you from there. So feel free to reach out to us. Don't think that they are not reachable or I might not get a response. Always just take your shot, and like someone on the team or me is always there to help you out with anything you require.
No, man, Arif, it's been awesome to get on with you, man. It's been awesome to jam, and dude, we're less than like 5 months away from Solana Breakpoint, Abu Dhabi, man. So hope to see you there. Hope we run it back. We're gonna have to do a live stream from Abu Dhabi and talk about, hey, man, what's happening on the Solana floor while everything, getting all the news, the latest news, breaking stuff, and see what kind of activation you guys have, because you guys always have something killer every breakpoint, even at SLR8. I'm excited for what you guys will have in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think Solana is sort of the best ecosystem to have all the cool events. Even right now, there are like so many events happening. So there is this in August we have Mountain DAO coming in again. So Mountain DAO is in Feb as well as in August. That's happening. Onion DAO just happened, and then there's this Solana Apex Singapore, Solana Apex Mumbai, and everything eventually leads to Solana Breakpoint, which is sort of the holy grail. So we'd love to see you at Breakpoint. I think something that is really cool. I would like to give a quick shout out to Super Team UAE, who have been killing it. They organized this really cool SEZ, Solana Economic Zone, earlier in the year, and they're doing it again before Breakpoint as well. So if anyone is down, they can join that. And Breakpoint is something you should not miss at all. You have all the best updates there, be it DeFi, be it gaming, be it PayFi, everything. So if you haven't yet got your Breakpoint ticket, you should definitely do so. Like always, we'll always do some sort of activation. We might have a couple of booths. We'll host few events here and there. But Breakpoint is something we are very excited about, and I think that will really be the biggest event, like the biggest spectacle. I think number one this year was Accelerate, like nothing else comes close, and number two has to be Breakpoint. So if you missed Accelerate, I think Breakpoint is something non-negotiable. You have to be there. There is no other way around it.
You heard it here, guys. Arif is telling you, it's non-negotiable. So do whatever you need to do. It's gonna be a killer week from F1 economic zone to Breakpoint. It's a week that you don't want to miss. It's the week that you need to be in Abu Dhabi. It's whatever you have, wherever you're building your savings account. Hey guys, start booking the tickets. Start looking at it. You know, buy now, pay later, whatever that is for you. You better start doing it now because you don't want to miss Abu Dhabi at Breakpoint. Arif, appreciate you coming on to today's show. Love the alpha. Love everything you brought to us. The amount of energy and amount of information you brought to us is very much needed. And now we're going to go check out Sonic. I'm going to go check out the new platform. Going to go check out these games that you mentioned. And probably going to cancel the rest of my day in meetings because I need to make sure I am locked in to what Sonic is offering right now. So, Arif, appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for another show. Talk soon, and we'll see you in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you so much, man. See you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.